If you thought the Articulate's reunion concert was something, get ready to have your socks rocked off this week on Beyond the Gates. Anita gets the shock of a lifetime, which infuriates her in the preview below. Plus, Andre's playing around comes back to bite him in the butt, and another member of the Dupree family is in danger. After learning that June was, in fact, the mother of Smitty and Martin's adopted children, a reunion was facilitated between them. However, Samantha and Tyrell weren't sure what place June played in their lives, especially given that she abandoned them. Coming up, Smitty tells Martin that they have a problem. Ashley's love for Derek suddenly came rushing back, just as he was rushed to the hospital after a biking accident that may leave him paralyzed. Andre turns up in the promo, and he is the last person Ashley wants to see, given what she saw. As Vanessa brings news to the Duprees, something they won't like, Kat wonders why her mother is getting all dolled up to pay Anita Dupree a visit. Could it have something to do with the fact that Peaches, the woman who raised her, wasn't her mother, and heavily hinted that Barbara, the fourth Articulate, was? And that she has a massive inheritance coming her way? That's when all hell breaks loose, with Anita screaming at Vernon to get Leslie, who it appears she just slapped, out of her house. Could Vernon be Leslie's father? After all, we know part of the reason the Articulates broke up was due to jealousy over men. Finally, Chelsea and Kat are launching a new social media brand, calling themselves Chelsea Cat. However, it doesn't look like their launch will get off the ground thanks to a stranger and some chloroform. Beyond the Gates preview, Leslie sends Anita into a rage, and spoiler, is abducted. Chapter 1. A Calm Before the Storm. The gated community of Willow Falls was rarely quiet, but on this particular Monday morning, the air carried a heavy tension. Birds chirped, sprinklers sprayed lawns in rhythm, and neighbors waved to each other with tight smiles. Yet beneath the idyllic surface, secrets stirred like sharks circling just out of sight. Leslie had been pacing her kitchen since dawn. Her mind wasn't on the ordinary hum of suburban life. She was consumed by one thought: Anita. Anita, with her sharp eyes and sharper tongue. Anita, who had crossed Leslie one too many times. Anita, who knew too much. Today, Leslie wasn't going to remain silent. She sipped her coffee and stared out the window, replaying last week's confrontation. Anita had cornered her at the community garden, whispering just loud enough for others to overhear. Funny, isn't it? How certain people pretend to be perfect wives and mothers while hiding affairs that could destroy everything. Leslie had smiled, pretending calm. But inside, a storm raged. Anita was dangling knowledge she shouldn't have. And now, Leslie planned to strike back. Chapter 2. Anita Unleashed. By mid-afternoon, the women gathered at the Willow Falls Country Club. The excuse was the usual, book club, but everyone knew these gatherings were less about novels and more about power. Leslie arrived in her pale blue dress, pearls catching the sunlight. Anita was already there, sipping wine and laughing too loudly. As the group settled, Leslie waited for her moment. When silence fell, she spoke. I've been thinking a lot about honesty, about how some people in this very room build their lives on lies. Heads turned. Anita's smirk faltered. For example, Leslie continued, her voice smooth as glass, a certain woman has been siphoning money from the HOA fund for months. Thousands missing. And wouldn't you know, our treasurer, Anita, has no explanation. Gasps erupted. Wine glasses froze mid-air. Anita shot to her feet, face blazing red. How dare you? She shrieked, her chair toppling backward. You want to play this game, Leslie? You want war. Leslie's lips curved into a slight, victorious smile. Not war, Anita. Just truth. Anita's rage echoed across the room. Women whispered, some siding with Leslie, others shrinking under Anita's glare. But the damage was done. Anita stormed out, slamming the door so hard the chandeliers rattled. Everyone knew this wasn't over. Chapter 3. The First Threads of Fear. That night, Leslie couldn't shake the unease. Yes, She had humiliated Anita. Yes, the community's trust in Anita was crumbling. But she also knew Anita was dangerous when cornered. Meanwhile, across town, Anita paced her own living room, wine glass in hand. She thinks she's won, Anita muttered. She has no idea what's coming. Her eyes flicked to the folder on her desk. Inside were photographs, grainy, clandestine shots of Leslie meeting a man late at night by the lake. Anita traced one photo with her finger. Let's see how perfect little Leslie handles this. Chapter 4. The Gathering. The rest of Willow Falls buzzed with gossip. At the grocery store, in Pilates class, at the school drop-off line, every conversation circled back to Leslie versus Anita. In the shadows of this social war, something darker brewed. Andre, the new security guard for the gated community, noticed strange activity on the perimeter cameras. Cars idling at odd hours. A hooded figure slipping past the hedges near Anita's house. He filed reports, but no one seemed to care. Paranoia, they called it. But Andre had seen enough in his life to know trouble when it lingered at the gates. Chapter 5. The Abduction. It happened on a Wednesday night. The neighborhood was quiet, lawns shimmering under moonlight. Anita, still seething from Leslie's attack, returned home from another failed attempt to plead her innocence at the HOA. She tossed her purse onto the counter, muttering curses under her breath. She didn't notice the unlocked back door. She didn't hear the footsteps until it was too late. A gloved hand clamped over her mouth. Her scream was muffled. She struggled, knocking over a lamp, but the intruder was strong. A syringe gleamed in the dim light. Moments later, Anita's body went limp. The last thing she saw before darkness swallowed her was the reflection of her captor's mask, an ordinary neighbor's mask from last year's Halloween party. By morning, Anita was gone. Chapter 6. The Fallout. The news spread like wildfire. Anita was missing. Police cars lined the streets of Willow Falls. Neighbors gathered in hushed groups, exchanging wild theories. Some blamed Leslie. After all, hadn't she just publicly destroyed Anita? Others whispered about debt collectors, secret lovers, and revenge. Leslie, for her part, sat frozen in her living room as detectives questioned her. When was the last time you saw Anita? At the country club, Leslie answered carefully. She was angry, but I never imagined. Her words trailed off. But inside, Leslie wrestled with guilt. Had she pushed Anita too far? Or was this abduction part of something bigger? Chapter 7. The Spoiler Nobody Saw Coming. Days passed with no sign of Anita. Then, an anonymous message arrived on Leslie's phone. Envelope with arrow, one gone. You're next. BG. Her blood ran cold. Beyond the gates of Willow Falls, something sinister was unfolding. A presence lurked, watching, waiting. The perfect facade of the community was crumbling, and soon, every secret would be dragged into the light. And Anita? Somewhere, bound and terrified, she realized the horrifying truth. Her abduction had nothing to do with Leslie's accusations. It went deeper. Far deeper.